No, what? Okay. I have some issue with the computer. Okay, now. Okay, we moved a little bit, but more twist on okay, more twist, but the same rudder differential. I assume that you have probably a rudder differential, uh, mostly using a rudder differential for the upwind only. Or let's see if you use it also for the downwind. But yeah, at least like now it looked like there was more twist on the on Spain. Yeah, for sure. There was so probably this is also maybe that could be affecting the or it's hard to say now from if I look over here there is actually it really looks like there's even more windward heel, but maybe it was just a little bit of view in the camera that's I wonder if actually maybe Hildar knows. Yeah, Egris, thanks for sharing. So sharing that the rudder differential for the upwind is best to keep at 100%. Yeah, so for the maximum rudder righting moment, I believe. But now when I kind of like really looked at it, these two boats stayed so close to each other, like the whole game. But every now and then, when I look at the speed, true speed numbers, they're a little bit more higher on Spain, so than on Brazil. So I wonder if it was. Just a little bit, I think, like every time they're just a little bit higher, but maybe it's also then would be on the angles because I think now if we look at these numbers, okay, from here we can actually also see the average angles that you would be going. So yeah, this is also really a wealth of knowledge, and I think this replay is quite awesome. For example, I definitely would probably watch this again because this is a super example for like self-learning and kind of coaching because you have two boats sailing pretty much in the similar wind. Okay, probably now I think Spain is should be in the dirty wind. I think that's probably should be in the gas. Which is also would be interesting to see what kind of like setup you have there. I think maybe it's still in the gas. I don't know. I'm just like having I don't have any clear example, but now I think you're out of the gas because more or less you now match the speed. Oh, sorry, it was reach. So yeah, definitely you were out of the gas with that distance. Yeah, because it was on the reach to finish. Okay, all right, that was the first one. I think I'm not sure if I learned much in practice, but I think I definitely will be rewatching this one because of two boats in the same wind. You can actually see like I'll probably maybe actually that would be an interesting one to put it side by side. That would be actually now that was a good idea. Now I would know I would could put two of those things side by side and we can actually watch exactly at each moment what is the settings and compare one to one. Definitely gonna do that one. Yeah, for sure, I guess. I think it was just very noticeable, and I think because it was a really nice match race, and it was close in the first one, and because also the stream was basically only on the leaders, so it was just only mostly showed you guys, and I think it was fun. But all right, that was the first one. Let's see. Okay, race two. I kind of now wanted to spend the race two trying to see if we can, I can, what can be observed from the free roaming. Now, obviously, now with two windows running on the same machine, it's pretty now slow. So bear with me before it restarts. Exit. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to um, yeah, so it would be interesting now just on the second one to watch what would be the good how can we use, for example, this free roaming view both for the replay and both, for example, for the umpiring. So that was my purpose of trying it on this race two, and also maybe just to see if there is any shifts because I don't think there is. Hi, Soren. Uh, I don't think there is. It's possible to see because I think in the AC game and maybe in the virtual regatta, right? You usually you have a little bit of wind and you have the shifts. You see what are the shifts, but I don't think it's really easy to see where the shifts are in the replay. Obviously, in the game that would be easy to see, but maybe we can. I wonder if for the coaching or self-learning purposes, if the big view is the good way sort of to see it. So I'm gonna experiment now. So bear with me. I'm just also trying to learn what can be taken from these things, and for the best of putting my coach's hat all the time, just trying to see what's the best way to learn the things. Okay, while it's loading for anyone watching it, if you need to go, so definitely there is this code here to watch it later. I think I'm streaming it also first only just to just to Patreon and to the to other places are coming later. I think I will be also practicing Patreon, some kind of like a bring your own situations. I already put some review of it that we looked with Hildar, but the one that I will a little bit cover also today. And yeah, Instagram, TikTok, and everything. Okay, computer is not too hot yet, so it should be okay. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit slow now with two windows running. Yeah, I guess checking the shifts in the first person camera. Yeah, I think that would be probably I would probably try to use some of those, or if we're gonna do some match racing when there's two boats next to each other, those are the best ones because then maybe I could have two views um, next to each other, and then you can compare exactly how each boat reacts to the shift and etc. The problem is that those two views they are not synchronized, so and it need to be manually. Okay, but while it's loading, okay, one one screen has loaded. So okay, let's now watch race two. Look at the big picture. I'll try to see what can be done now with a big view. So this one again, I will put into the, no, no. Did I press? So this one I will put into this Umpire app just for the general view. The main view is still loading. Okay, let me put the pause. Yeah, the blue indicator is the wind indicator. Yeah, and the orange indicator is the true wind. Yeah, yeah. And I think, as if I'm not mistaken, also if I exit from here. One, okay, while we're still loading, while the computer is still loading here, the main view, I believe that this one is in the middle, also shows the shift. So if you probably get a little bit, I don't know how much time one have the watching it during the race, probably not that much, but yeah, once you maybe get to used to some venues, they might again maybe have the similar pattern. Are they oscillating? Are they stable? Okay, let let me now. So this one I will now try to see what can be done with general view. What I noticed that there was a little bit of a learning curve there in trying to understand. Okay. Okay, so let's try to sync. This is 2 minutes. Umpire view. 258. Yes, right about now. Okay. You see? Yes. Okay, let me now see. I need to move to another keyboard and the mouse for this. So, so I've tried a few things in here, I think. So first I try to kind of like watch. So I think maybe, yeah, when it comes to this view, one can decide like what you want to do. If you are doing the media, so there probably will be different points of view that one can actually use. So one is could be the same media, so probably then you could do more or less the same things as the helicopter, like what they have in SailGP. So for example, having different helicams and changing it. I tried to be also using, for example, for the umpiring. So then you also, for example, very often try to see the like situation a little bit more closer. But honestly, it's the same as almost trying to make this calls and flying a drone. It's not that easy. That's why I started to warm up towards the umpire view. But of course, maybe from the coaching perspective, one can see what can be done. But that's okay. This is also, I don't know how it is. For me, it really looks like the boats are OCS very often. So maybe the game or this replay is not precise. What was that? Oh, Tyler is returning. Okay, but so this is actually one thing. Maybe I didn't want to maybe go too much into the rules, but I believe you don't need to return in the because also in the game, I think if you look at the rules, um, so the penalty if you're OCS or if you have the so yeah, you need to fall. So if you have a penalty for the OCS before the starting signal. So you just need to reduce your VMG VMC by 20 meters. So basically you need just to fall behind 20 meters. And if it's OCS, you need to fall behind the boat, which is the last non-OCS. So for example, if there's 3 boats which are OCS, then and there's 10 boats, so you need to fall behind the 7th boat, 20 meters behind. Yeah, so Tyler did not have to return at that time. Um, oh, the game, I guess, says that the boat considers OCS if the boat is fully out. Do you mean like fully out, the whole hull over the line? Okay, this is so basically its OCS is measured by the stern, or is it by the center of the boat? Interesting. Um, all right, so big view, what can be done? So one, of course, what I thought is that one can do this type of helicopter view and see the tactically what the boats are choosing. But obviously, again, if you don't really well know the winds, so if you already built some kind of like a map of the wind, so if you already sailed a little bit, then you could maybe then know. So just for the replay like that, there is really very unclear what you could do. Um, but it could be a little bit of, I think this view can be used a little bit of boat tactics, like a fleet tactics, what you can maybe decide. So maybe let's see what can be done here. Hildar is going bang the corner all the way there. Is he planning to pass on the other side of the Shark Island? These boats up. So yeah, I did not check how was the previous rounding while I was yapping about something. So it's very difficult maybe then now just to see how would be there. But let's watch the next leg. It would be maybe also good to watch the leg being from behind the boats on the downwind leg. But I'm afraid if I will be repositioning, it's gonna take long time. Yeah, so I agree. So that's what I think has always have been that being a bit early, I would get OCS, but the end early OCS is fully both outside the start line. Yeah, interesting, interesting. But obviously, it's also it's not a problem. I mean, like as long as it is sort of like equal for everyone, so it means that the starting line is sort of like 10, 50 feet further, and that's it. Okay, I think maybe from here, can we see anything? Did Hildar there when it looks like it was going quite high, and I think here, for example, even though Diogo just round a little bit early, it really kind of looked like going better angle. So maybe it was a right shift. Maybe it's again for practice. Maybe it's always good just, for example, to see if the boats are like close. So here is the rounding Diogo, Egris, Wouter. Okay, and then Hildar was more or less the same thing. This looks to me that, for example, Netherlands is now on actually going on the better angle. So is it? Yeah, it looks that, for example, this is now probably a left shift, or is this just a better pressure that, for example, Netherlands can go lower? So let's see, for example, now how next time they will meet Netherlands and Canada. Okay, maybe there was a little bit loss of the speed during the jibe on Canada. But for example, now one can see that they were like really bow to stern and the previous cross. How is it right now? I think now Canada is just getting a little bit more, yeah, more or less the same, more or less the same. So I think it's either probably, maybe it is also not to be trusted with this point of view, because sometimes maybe the headings is something which is more reasonable to look at. Honestly, I think this is a pretty, yeah, tricky. I don't know if there would be a good overlay of the winds on it, same way as in virtual regatta or in AC sailing, or even not overlay, but it would be on the mini map. But overlay would be actually even awesome. Then one can also a little bit more decide. But I think this needs to be then combined with some data of, yeah, I don't know. I think this is what I kind of like. I'm not sure exactly how much one can. This is a good shot maybe for the media, but in terms of practicing, I think in terms of learning, I don't know. A bit difficult to get something. Maybe I'll jump then to the. I'll jump now to the next race. Actually, I think that was an interesting one. Um, that's where I tried also just to see how this umpire, and I think there was a quite interesting situation. So let's also look at it. I can nerd out a little bit about the rules. Okay, again, it's gonna take a while now to reset the game and put the right. Oh no, it's not gonna be probably that fast because I don't need to restart it. So now we are. Okay, I will now on this view. I will zoom in. So maybe, yeah, we'll just replay because this was an interesting situation. So if we're gonna see it maybe now first from this angle. This is start. There we go. Let's put 2 minutes before the start. 40, synchronizing manually, 40, 39. Okay, should be there. So the umpire, so first I was a little bit skeptical, but now when I start to look at the details, I think it is actually quite valuable and can be used also for the live umpiring and also for the review of the close situation. I think it is pretty decent. The only thing for the live umpiring, it's a bit tricky because as you see here on the screen, there is here you have a numbers. I think it would be so great if this would be at least countries, because now you always need to add both 28. You need to look who is that. Okay, agrees. Then you need to, you know, for example, if you want to see which country it is. So of course, probably with the time you will get used to a little bit the names. But so yeah, just a heads up. I think at least where we you can watch what's happening between at the Mark 1 between Hildair, Canada, and Greece. Spain. And I think that also made me think about it, for example, how game makes the decisions and also how the decisions are really made in life, even with umpires who have the in SailGP, or sometimes when you don't have really the view, you have to only rely on the. No, what is this? Oh, sorry, this is not the one. So it seems to be that that was some kind of like a abandoned start. Yeah. Okay. Let me now change. Yes, fair enough, fair enough. This is a wrong one. Be good to see a time lapse of the ump app for a race. Yeah, I think this is this useful. It's like in SailGP, you know, like also you can if you I'll show you. So if you go to no, not here. If you go to the SailGP insights, like for example for any race, you can select this real like umpire amp, and then you can, well, this is a pretty small one here, so but you can zoom it. The only thing is that it's just a stream. It's not interactive. You cannot do anything like the umpires. You cannot move it, but you're just getting a stream also what the umpires can see. So it's I think it is quite, for the sailing nerds, is definitely a very good view. Okay, let's start again. 150 on the main screen. Let's synchronize the umpire app. So 130, 35, 3, 2, 1, now. So just a heads up, I think the situation that we can discuss, it's happening here at the mark, and it will be between the Canada and Spain. So when I think the situation, it will be here boat 28 and 45. Yes. So first, yeah, the umpire app. Basically, I think what it shows here, green, right of way. So in here it's starboard. Red is sport. Also, it does the pink. I'm not actually, I didn't figure out what is the pink one. I want to maybe figure out. Then it shows this red and green line. So red, even though both of them on the starboard. But red line is give way boat. And I think what is also what I noticed in here, when the boats, like for example, over here, 40, 46, you see when they overlapped, there's a yellow line between them. And now when they're clear, yellow line disappears. So I think this is really useful. Okay, now let's go to mark 1. So as you can see now here, they're approaching the mark. Usually because these are overlap, you see the 33 will need to go first, then it's 47, then it's would be uh, 28, and 45 is behind because now it was overlap, then it was clear, and then now it was overlap, and it entered the zone immediately. So in here, technically what's would be there because there was an overlap, then it will be penalty 28, who is that Spain, relative to 45, who is there is Canada. But there was also some nuances. That's what I want to discuss, and I think maybe that's where we can discuss also what rules need to be applied. So for me, it was pretty easy to make that call because I looked it before and already analyzed. So was it on Wednesday we discussed it with Hildar about these things. But the challenge is that even in real life, when these things develop really fast, because as you can see, both 28 and 45, so now they're approaching the mark. Now they're clear ahead, clear stern. 28 is ahead, right of way. Boat 45 is astern. Keep clear boat. Uh, Now, when they, can I put the slow-mo maybe? Right before entering the zone, they establish an overlap, and that's shown by this yellow line. So in this case, because the boats are overlapped right before entering the zone, then now there is a mark room for boat 45. But honestly, I must say that this would be a pretty, in real life, when I was just trying to position only from the view over here, it was very extremely difficult to see, especially like now, as you can see. Let me go a little bit more back. So if you look at the Canada and Spain, like you need to be really precisely in a very good position just to see that there is an overlap. And because that one was previously, there was a now there is an it looks like it's clear. Now it looks like it's clear, clear, clear. What we did probably in real life when if I would be umpiring that one from the boat. So first of all, it really depends on the positioning of the wing. Are you in the really right position, and you need to watch the rest of the fleet? So you probably would also, what is we apply is the last point of certainty, because if it was clear, 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 and then you know that the overlap maybe was established, but you're not sure if it was established before the zone or not, you have a last point of certainty. So that last point of certainty, it's the rule 7 in the book. So you assume that um, the state of the boat and their positioning to each other hasn't changed if it's the umpires assume that the state of the boat or her relationship to another boat has not changed until they're certain that it has changed. So it would be very likely that if this would be in kind of on water umpiring, because the overlap was established literally like milliseconds before entering the zone, then it would be very difficult for the umpires really to call it, and you would presume the previous state, which means that they were not overlapped. Then it means that you would think that this boat is ahead right of way, and boat 28, in this case it's Spain, would get the mark room. Now with this technology that we have over here, we actually can see that there is a overlap. Just right before entering the zone, there is an overlap. So now watch the boat 28, clear, clear. So these boats are now clear between each other, clear ahead, still clear. Now, wow, what is that? Literally like 2 meters before the zone. I think it is also if the decisions are made by the game, they would make a correct decision. But I don't know, for example, like even in the SailGP, I don't know how much they're assisted in this decision by the technology or how much they're actually just doing it visually. So because, for example, when I did it visually, I did not notice it. And very more likely, if I go back and replay, then the decision would be done correctly. That 45 had the mark room. But then if you need to decide and it's only one umpire and stuff, it would be very difficult without like this decision notice and this mark there. Of course, there is some information from here, but it's not presented in a very easy way to read. Okay, but this one is just about that particular situation and explaining how usually that might be done in real life. But what is maybe interesting that what we need to discuss for the next event and how we are dealing the touching the mark, because as you can see over here, okay, even let's say now doesn't really like, but okay, let's say that's um, maybe even for a while we forget about who has the mark room in this situation, who had the overlap, but both 45 now over here makes the contact with a mark. And this is very different. So if you take the normal rules of sailing, then you have this rule that, well, everybody knows that you shouldn't touch the mark. It's mark room touching. So the boat shall not touch the mark. But in SailGP, this rule is deleted. And so which means that you're not gonna get any, so there's no rule 31. So you're not getting fall behind penalty. In real SailGP, you don't get the fall behind penalty if you touch the mark. I think the game gives you penalty because if I'm looking now over here, if we just play now over here, I think this is a kind of like a difference that I think now there is a contact. Both, as you see, Canada and Spain get the penalty. Let me zoom in. Uh, yeah, so in this case, I think the game really decided because it's clearly was that the game saw the overlap, so it had to decide that Canada had the mark room, and then it penalized basically this boat. It's a boat both ways. It's a windward boat not keeping clear, but because she will not be exonerated from it because she didn't have the mark room. So mark room was for the Canada, but then the Canada was penalized for touching the mark. And penalized here, this means that in the game or in the rules, you need to fall behind. But in the real Sail GP, actually you don't. And then I kind of really try to. So what you will be doing in this real Sail GP, you're gonna get the penalty points, and you get the penalty points either for Rule 14 or there is also Rule 57 called reckless sailing. So, and I think there was one situation which I was quite, I actually went behind and tried to understand how this is applied. So that was a situation in the real Sail GP, I think in Auckland when Denmark allegedly touched the mark. Denmark denied that. Uh, but it was very clearly that it happened, and I think let's see what kind of decision the umpires made there. Let's share this window. So this is SailGP Insight. I think if you really want to go to the details of it, should I put it on the big? I'll put it on the big screen now here. Yes, so this is the situation. So if I put here the Denmark, this is from the have the bow camera. doesn't look like they're synchronized cameras in time, but let's see. So basically, if we now play over here, yeah. So you can see now, yeah, hope that you guys can see it over here, but Denmark is approaching the mark. They're having a lot of spray, and I think they're cutting it quite close. You can see the mark now over here. And I'm having it also with this chatter board here so that you can see. Let me maybe see if I can. Maybe that one is a little bit better because it's a bit bigger. So they're approaching now the mark. So the mark is well and intact. They're cutting it like quite close. And I don't think they touch it with a hull, but I think they touch it with a T-foil, which is actually sticking out. So they're passing it nearby. Okay, okay, you cannot see it from here. On the left, there is no actually information on the umpire app. So on here on the alerts, you don't get anything that they touched the mark. And that's why they did not get any penalty in here for touching the mark, because there is nothing in the rule for that one. But if we, for some reason, the one on the bottom is not synchronized. Yes, but now it's coming here. This is from the bow camera. No, I hope it's the same. So this is also a little bit of problematic now for the synchronization. Maybe it is right now. Yes, maybe it's here. Okay, right now they're passing next to the mark on the bottom screen. I think so. And there you see just right now over here, you see that the mark is crashed. So anyway, it was really clearly that they touched the mark, although that's when you listen to yeah. So basically, I think when I looked at it, I just now did a little bit. He says that somebody claimed that we hit the mark, and they got 2 points for that one. But they say that they will deny. But he is having this twinkle in his eye because I think they probably know very well what happened. But they're right. There is no clear footage of anything hitting there, but you could clearly see that it was the mark when they approached there was intact. When they left the mark, it was crushed. But anyway, a part of this interesting nuances of this game, it's just. I think what probably would be good to decide here is for the eSailGP is what kind of penalty is to be given for the touching of the mark. And the difference would be is that either you do it in SailGP way, which means that you don't give any fall behind penalty. If you touch the mark, you just basically don't need to fall behind, but you get the point. And I think for this purpose, we need to also kind of like, yeah, that could be also reviewed, the good thing of it, because that could be reviewed after the race. Um, but then also on the other hand, one can go with having a fall behind penalty, and because these are not real boats and there is no like real damage, and then you get this notification from the game, so you will see it quite clearly. I think both are okay, but the only difference that in this situation, the difference would be is that if you allow to touch the mark and give only the race points, then in this case you would give race points. Even then the boat had the mark room, but you would also consider if it would be possible for that boat to avoid? And that maybe would be a separate discussion. What is reasonably possible from this situation? Is it possible for this boat to, at this moment, to luff up? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Probably will end up with capsize if you do a really sudden luff up. Is it possible to bear off? I think that would probably end up even in a worse situation, that you probably will go down and actually do a crash jibe, and probably then you will have your wing on the sides where all the other boats are rounding. So I think in here it probably one could argue that there is a good case of not being reasonably possible avoiding the contact with the mark. So in this case, 2-point penalties would not be given. Uh, but I think, so yeah, how does the rule exactly say? Let me see. If reasonably possible, the boats shall not cause a damage. So yeah, if protest committee decides that it's reasonably possible, then you get 2 opponents. But if not, then it's not. But then if it would be normal kind of racing rules that touching the mark requires so that you will fall behind. Hi, Swiss Cookie. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I got carried away, didn't read the comments. Now went really nerdy in the rules, so that's why went there. But the point what I was trying to make here, if we would give it the same way that there is a penalty for the touching the mark, and you would assume that this is was the fault of the Spain boat. Again, like I'm not trying to revisit any results which are done in this, just talking about different scenarios. So if you decide that there was an overlap and mark room was for Canada and Canada was touched there, then you would exonerate. You would not ask Canada to fall behind. It would be clearly a penalty on Spain, fall behind Canada, because this is a normal way. If you there is a rule. What was the what is 43 about exoneration? So even this could be considered that you are compelled by the other boat to break the rule, so that you were basically pushed there, or you are sailing within your mark room and you touch the mark, rule 31. So then you will be exonerated for the breach. So in this case, I think, yeah, that particular things would, if you really want to be fair, super nerdy fair, I think you would need to have a sort of some kind of judging and umpire help, because this is not a fair result to me. So you either give penalty points, oh, and that's not fully according to the rules. You either give penalty points to Canada, but don't ask them to fall behind, or you don't give you treat this penalty point separately, but you don't tell them to fall behind because they were compelled or to touch the mark, or they were not given the mark room and that's why they touched the mark. Anyway, I think that was very, so Hildar, very thanks for sharing this result, and I think it was very interesting to see how how it is going to happen. But really, honestly, in real life, when we are in the high-speed boats and chasing this boat, and it could go 50-50, really. It just could go based on what the umpires and positioning, and as I said, what is the last point of certainty? What do they, what the umpires actually decide when the overlap was established? And yeah, we're all human beings, so we're gonna be, you know, there's a certain biases that we might have, and depending on our positioning. Anyway, yeah, but that's something that could be improved, and I think I liked that you had this very good rules set up. Where was the? Yeah, I think this was no, what was that was the rules. So I think how it was previously decided here that for hitting the mark, it's 1 point. So if you have a 1 point, so in this case, so if we apply this philosophy, this approach of the penalty, so in this case, Canada shouldn't have fallen behind, and actually Spain should have fallen behind, but then there is one more penalty for the Canada, unless they have a request a protest hearing, and then they will be deemed so that they were not reasonably possible for them to avoid the mark. And yeah, so it's but again, it's all about how much nerdy we want to go on these things. If you want to go all the way, SailGP, I'm just like now. Sorry, I forgot to. Yeah, I should have been probably. Yeah, so basically, if you go full way nerdy on like SailGP, this is very like they have all those flow charts, how to assign the points when you have the contact, when there is a damage, when there is a serious damage. Uh, so, for example, in this case, serious damage would be, for example, the boat capsizing. Like if somebody kind of caused the other boat capsize, then you might also think about it. Would you actually apply the penalty points to another boat? Uh, that's the same thing, which as now I was talking about when Denmark, Nikolai that was given for 2 points. This was exactly about this loop because they were managing the boat in the way that is likely to cause the damage because there was not a really clear, they didn't have a image, so they applied this one. That's why they end up with 2 points and not normal 4 points as the minor damage because there was no probably clear video footage of it happening. But everybody can agree that it's likely happened. Yeah, anyway, um, maybe let's watch. I think I'm gonna now maybe look at the remaining couple of races without any particular agenda, just to see if there is anything interesting that pops up, and then we can discuss. Then we can discuss. If there is anything else or any questions, of course, let me know. I'm happy to discuss. Yeah, I didn't watch the rest of this match. And if there is any other interesting situation happens, yeah, send me the footage. I'm also happy to learn about what can be done from the umpiring point of view and what realistically can be achieved, for example, by one or two umpires which are watching it. So, because obviously that situation, as I said, it's very difficult to catch it unless you go for the replay. Okay, now let's we have already now covered this kind copy covered these three. Now let's look at the race 4. It's gonna take a while because again computer is pretty warm but not too bad, so I think it can handle two of those um, Windows instances, Windows machines running at the same time. Um, so this could be then also handled, for example, to show boat on boat action so that you can see how does it look from the both. This is, I think, just an idea that came to me that I will definitely probably do on the next stream. Try to put two boats in the close race and then compare all the settings. Okay, while the games are resetting and restarting, while they are restarting, feel free if you need to drop or something, if you want to rewatch put the QR code for the YouTube where it will be published, or actually I think I will publish it a little bit later. So what I'm planning first is to do the basically now I'm streaming it. It will be just only on the Patreon and here on the hidden YouTube link. Sometime later, I will play it on all kind of social media. So then I think it will be available on that link that I'm sharing right now. So yeah, that recording will be available later. Okay, load. And on Patreon, I'm just planning to put some kind of like early access to all the videos and probably also have some kind of like this boss level bring your own sailing situation, so where you could see what we can actually look at the particular situation that people have and then discuss it in a very similar way. But otherwise, I think I'll also put all the things in the social media that you can get there. Right. Anytime now. So I think one of they will soon. That's a problem. The only problem with having those two views that it actually takes a really now long time to load them. Thank you again also guys for Soren, Swiss Cookie Man and Egris for the comments, and I think thanks for sharing. I really also hope to a little bit learn more about also sailing it. I think this is a very as probably as close to foiling as one can get in any of the simulator that I've seen. So I think I'm really enjoying it when I'm having the break now, winter break from real sailing. I put the models here, but we never really use them. But that's, I think that's something that maybe I'll just remember next time, or maybe if there I noticed some other situations coming, we'll use them. Yes, now finally. Go back 2 minutes. Let's hope that the umpire's view is coming soon. Okay, synchronize now. Yes, now should be the same. Okay, I'll try now maybe just to see if what would be the good setting for me to set up here to see. Yeah, this is a nice media view, but I don't think this is really kind of useful for any. This is good. I think that's where you can see more and then one can switch between the boats. Okay, let me now see. Boats approaching now here to start. Interesting. So the fleet is actually starting from low, so fighting for the pin, I guess. 20 seconds. I think the boat 33 here is kind of getting there, but probably will be quite slow, 13 seconds. I think boat 49 here, which is Kijub, France, I think, in a good way. Ooh, that looked like very close and even possibly like a contact between 22 and 28. That's okay. This is also something that I might practice now to learn how to do this. Maybe I need to practice it without the stream first. Okay, this is at the mark is fairly easy. There is no issues over here. Okay. Okay, possibly some collision course between 22. Who is that? Diogo here on starboard. Don't think can reach anybody here. No, cannot. Oh, 28. Spain needs to keep clear, keeping clear here. I guess here they will be split, both 15. Or is that Lucas? A little bit tight. So actually has to soak. But the mark room is for 15, so 28 needs to give room to keep. And now mark room given already. So no issue. Now 28 can laugh if needed. Nice flotilla, one after another. Yes, definitely tacking away. Probably there is dirty wind. I don't know how much of this can play we're on right now. Yes, I will come maybe now soon. I'll have to have to finish these things, this recording. But you guys go ahead and play. Maybe I'll also set up. I need to change the setup from this to get my wheel. It's a little. This shows that there is a pressure point, but there is nothing really to. So here is that they're approaching the obstruction. So, but there is no such thing as room to tack in the SailGP because there is rule 20, as you can see over here, is changed to the boundary. So basically, what it works there is giving room at the obstruction. So uh, basically, when the boats are overlap, the outside boat should give the boat to sail there. Of course, this is a basic like obstruction that's there. But when you approach a boundary, and in this case, for example, this obstruction is probably marked as the boundary, then you need to give possibility for the other boat um, to sail proper course. And I think this is some nuances, but that also needs to be agreed. For example, if because very common that in Sail GP is that you will this would be the boundaries, the lines in between. So for example, this is the boundary and boundary. So then, for example, if you have something like that in the middle, then you need to kind of clearly say, is this an obstruction or is this a boundary? Because, you know, this is defined probably as boundary. So it means that the other boat should have had some, you know, would be able just to tack same way as you would do at the boundary. Okay, but these are some already nuances. Port starboard 40-44, no issue here. What is 40? But honestly, I say that this is quite reasonable tool for the umpiring. I think if I would be, I tried also to do the umpiring with having a F5 and moving like that. I was so difficult just to be all the time in the right position, and that's would be a very tricky. So, and then you need to completely like rotate all the time around, see where is the next pressure point where something is happening. So that would be a very difficult, like it's like flying the drone and doing the umpiring. But I think using this umpire app, I think it is pretty good. Okay, board boat kept clear. Germany, no issue here. Ooh, and now I missed here 52-22. Who is 15? Yeah, that's why you would just need to have, if you want to have this view, somebody would need to, like, having two umpires would be good because one could always look at the umpire view. The other one can, for example, switch between the to see how any of those pressure points look at the screen. So having a different point of view. 40-44. Now it was port starboard cross, but non-eventful. Yeah, that's what I did. I just tried now only to locate who is crossing here, and it just took me a while. I checked the numbers and do this. It's too late. I'm already. So yeah, having a second umpire who I could just say that pressure point between, for example, call the numbers of the boat, and then the other umpire can check the numbers of the boat and select the right view over here. Yeah, port starboard 49 kept clear, no issue here. So now checking the leaders. Seems to be that RG Tyler is a little bit pinching now here. That's why the distance is at Mark Room, and Mark Room given now to Australia, no issue. this is what is actually I'm missing right now here, when exactly they're hitting the boundary. Now I think I need to look over here, then it looks that they hit the boundary. There is a starboard boat, 49 kept clear, no issue here. This would be close. So what is now from here you can see the boats are overlapped now. Is this yeah, a little bit like 33 Tyler was actually very well lucky here, hitting it, just taking it all the way until the boundary, and so that he can lay without extra 2 jibes. That was pretty good. This was a little bit busy, so that's why again the second umpire is needed. It looked like 48 went outside the boundary, but yeah, okay, here it shows there its boundary. And I think what I noticed now here, you had this rule for the boundary, which I think boundary. You need to lose 40 meters with respect to relative boats. The issue, the one in front and one behind, that's possible, but I think very often that there is no uh, it might be difficult to this might be a little bit vague, like what is the boat. So because the real SailGP rules say that if you break the boundary, yeah, I think I need to see what this is something that I want to check. Maybe what is the real SailGP says about the rule and the boundary. My understanding is that if I remember it correctly, also from the America's Cup, you just have a distance that you would need to fall back. Uh, but maybe I'm wrong. I need to check that. Okay, like there's a good point to be taken. Okay. I don't have a replay because I got these things from Hildar, so I don't have a replay for the medal race. But maybe I can see how it looks also from the. I will watch it from YouTube. So I believe this is still previous race that we watched just now. Yes, two. Now I think there is 2 minutes here. Okay, there was a restart here 2 minutes before the start in this last medal race. Okay, 20 seconds. I think here I remember that Spain and Brazil got a little bit of match race, and Ketchup from the back, full speed crossing. So all good. I think Spain did not like they definitely like protected and won the situation, but yeah, that's always a classic case when you in three boats race is still a three boat fleet race, so it means that you start match racing, then the other one will overtaking you. That's always the case. So I noticed France and Kyajubo over here is going full manual, so pretty good. And also, I think that there I noticed a very good sort of work on the dynamic work, also including jib and main at the same time. Very okay. Now it was simultaneously, but I think it looked like it was having a good separate controls for that. Okay, jibing to take the right turn mark, trying to protect this, but yeah, not too aggressive. So now still did not manage to break the overlap completely. So it was mark room for France, but I think it was really good because the angle for rounding for Spain started to be really, really bad. Uh, so that's why I think sometimes you don't need to go full aggressive and just try to put the boat completely to out so that you can you know be ahead and break overlap. So this is still fleet race. This is not a match race. You I think that was a good move just to put them so that they had to soak. The only thing is that it just looked a little bit of a risk because I think what would be the proper course for then Spain in that situation. Sorry if I'm go now over here. Yeah, that's what I'm just now talking in here. So France, this is the mark. This is the wind. France is approaching here. Who is there? Spain. Like that. France is jibing. So obviously slow. Now France is rolling, doing a luff over here, which is again, I think it's good. Of course, the aggressive luff would be is just to luff up this boat like that and then enter the zone ahead. But again, you might get into this game. You might also end up even getting the penalty for yourself. How is it? Oh, why? Hold on a second. For some reason, um, mm, mhm. I lost the camera now here. Hmm, that's strange. Okay, something happened with my other camera, but maybe I'll just use this. Okay, so what I was trying to explain now over here. So this boat is the whole setup is falling apart now here. Okay, if this is the mark, so France is doing the so yeah, so basically I think it was quite nice just to, and maybe France could have even stayed just a little bit longer to give a really nasty angle for Spain to approach to the mark. But I think it is pretty risky to luff all the way up when there will be a third boat basically rounding at the faster than this three. So yeah, that was nice, good luff. Um, make that the Spain goes in a really bad slow angle. The only thing that over here that I think what was a little bit risky is this thing is just France is now closing the like that, closing the room to the mark. Of course, it's giving, but the difference that in SailGP the mark rounding is the proper course. So it's the room to sail the proper course around the mark, which is different from the normal rule. From the normal rule, in the normal rules, you just need to give room for the boat. If it's just to uh, sail to the mark. Oh, this is by the way the old rule book. Sorry, this is disregard this thing. This is an old rule book. It should be updated. But anyway, the in SailGP, you need to give the proper course for mark room is the to sail no farther from the proper course. Okay, that's not to sail proper course, but no farther than the proper course. So, and again, in this situation, you could then kind of like say what is her proper course. That her proper course would be is that this is a little bit too kind of like if you close like that, this is not a proper course for red. So what would be the situation how this red will sail without France? You probably will still try to have a little bit more kind of like a nicer angle, not this angle. This is not the proper course angle. So I would say that all good over here, and I think probably if there would be a penalty or the protest, I think it would be probably a green flag because the France did not close the gate now or the door here. And again, now maybe just a little bit closing, but at this moment is already mark is given because now we already passed by the mark from the line goes astern. So yeah, but overall, I think the good tactics in this situation. Yes, give a bad angle to this boat, but then at the same time, don't get too greedy by if you close too tight, you might actually get the penalty on you that you're not giving the mark room for this boat to sail her proper course. So I think give a bad angle to this boat and then like nice fast rounding the mark. This boat is will be struggling, and then once it's passed, you will be probably already ahead and can actually in this case, you can even nicely luff because you already have a lot of speed in here. But just observation, I think all in all is good. I think it was a good job. I think by job and obviously, yeah, very that gave a good exit speed. Okay, Simo tack. Um, I don't know if it was a shift also for Agris over here. I wonder if that was a shift, but I think this is also, yeah, do you sort of yeah, there's an option, of course, you either go all the way to the boundary and then, or you basically stay and play with a, yeah, okay, now here going lower. So yeah, there was an option over here. Do you do sim attack or do you go all the way to the boundary? I don't say that there is a clear sort of maybe rights and wrongs there, but I think it really depends. Is it, you know, normally you kind of want to maybe to like a minimize amount because now it's very possible that kind of like if then if you Spain would go all the way to the boundary, then the next approach would be from somewhere like over here, and then if you're actually on some lift, who knows, you might be end up even libowing them. But otherwise here, if you are not on the port tack, was able to sort of start to give the bad wind for the other boats. I don't know if it's makes sense. But yeah, if there was a shift or something like that, then yeah, you do the tack together. There is no problem. So okay. Libao from Diogo, maybe a little bit bouncy tack, so a little bit lost height in the speed, but that's I think also nerve-wracking, of course, if you come on port and you want to lay so that you're gonna get the inner overlap, but still not. Oh yeah, I think they are not laying here. Sorry. Yeah, I thought that was. I'm here on the fast speed. I'm kind of like. All boats go around the right turn mark. Were the winds better on that side? I wonder. Spain and Brazil split before the island. Yeah, obviously the island here is creating a little bit of issue. So for example, the Jup had to go lower and then high up, just sailed a little bit more distance. But on the other hand, doing two less maneuvers. So I think it might be worth it. Because from here, I think he's just like gonna lay to the mark. Yeah, quite nicely actually. Spain went at even higher lane, probably even not affected. I think it is quite, yeah, definitely. I think it's in clear winds. Because even though that apparent wind is pretty much apparent wind shadow and gas would be somewhere over here, but I think quite nice. I think Spain can. It was able to live for a while, but I think now soon probably gonna start to get into the gas. No, still in, just losing the height a little bit over here. But I think pretty much good. Yes, setting up for the inner overlap for the right turn mark. Speed is matching, so I guess it is not affected. would be really great to see also understand in the game where is the wind shadow. Okay, split, and that's the penultimate leg. Yeah, I think well there is with this difference for Spain there was no really other option is to split, but I think it was a little bit longer distance. Yeah, looking at the minimap, I think Spain even just lost a little bit more compared to France. Yeah, pretty much good job. I think all in all, it seems to be that was very good boat handling for all the boats, 98%, 95 flight time. All good. Right, good. This was a pretty awesome. I enjoyed actually watching it quite a lot. I think we now, I think definitely next time I will try to analyze a couple of boats side by side. I think maybe probably we'll use the same game because the same race, the first race. We're just gonna put, for example, Diogo on one side and Igris on the other side. Compare like all the settings in the each moment because they spend a lot of time really match racing in the same wind. Yeah, then I think this was good. I think Umpire app. I don't know what can be got, what you can receive from really big picture. I think it's a pretty good view for the media, but I don't think really. I didn't really get maybe much of it. I think much more you get from the closer look what settings the boats they have, especially if they have close, because you get a lot of information from HUD display. Um, what else? Umpire app, I think that was really good. I think we just need to start using that one more for the and actually I think it would be possible to use it for the live umpiring. And yeah, medal race was also quite tight. Was pretty good. All right, I think that's it. Usual about 2 hour stream, so I think we are coming back to it. I think the other guys are playing it. I'll probably try to take now to eat something. Then let's see if I have any energy. But for that one, I think, and I'll gonna be probably watching the Sail GP in Los Angeles and then gonna make tomorrow again some kind of analysis for the Patreon. I have already something on the YouTube for the previous matches, just analyzing interesting situations, more or less like it is here, but for the real Sail GP. And yeah, I'm gonna do the same one for Patreon probably tomorrow and then publish it on YouTube in a week or two or somewhere when I have time for that one. Um, That's it. I think that's good. Good job. Super nice game. So if you're not for any other ones who was watching, who you're not part of it, definitely just get the game called Hydrofoil Generation. I think from my perspective, I think this is the closest simulator that you get for foiling, especially honestly, I know that it's a bit very tricky to use it for the both manual and manual foils and manual sails, but honestly, I think when you get this feeling, it's almost the same as actually having feeling it on the sailing boat when you really get that feeling that is right, that I don't really yet get that too often, but when it just you get the coordination between steering, heeling of the boat and pitch of the boat, and if you just get it right, then it's awesome. So yeah, download the game called Hydrofoil Generation. Then if you're interested, join the Discord server. It's called Regatta. No, wait. Uh, yeah, it's called this Hydrofoil Regatta Center. So really, really nice, cool community. And then yeah, stay tuned. I think for the next month race in should be in I guess in Bermuda or where it's gonna be. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks guys for the comments for everything. I think it was a good stream. All right, take care.